Hong Kong badminton player survives road crash. Drug syndicate busted in 2 raids, 7 nabbed. Good evening, welcome to News on 2. I'm Wong Kang Sin. Youth and Sports Minister Syed Saddiq Saib Abdul Rahman said world #1 men's singles Japanese badminton player Kento Momota suffered a broken nose and lacerations to his lips and face in a deadly accident occurred at the Max Expressway early today. He, however, noted that Momota is in stable condition. Momota, meanwhile, hopes that he could be discharged today.
We are monitoring very closely, and as the Minister of Youth and Sports, will give full support and commitment to ensure that all 4 will get the best of treatment. The doctors are well trained and they've done a great job. We thank them for their great service, and we'll ensure that we monitor the situation very closely to ensure that the 4 individuals, including Momota, will get the best of treatment from us.
The minister added that 3 other injured passengers of the van in which Momota was travelling are also in stable condition. All 3 suffered injuries to their faces and legs. The 4 were believed to be heading to the Kuala Lumpur International Airport, KLIA, when the vehicle hit a 30-ton lorry at kilometre 13.7 of the highway. Momota won the Malaysia Masters men's singles title at the Axiata Arena in Bukit Jalil last night after defeating former world champion Victor Axelsen of Denmark. CT scans done on badminton world #1 men's singles shuttler Kento Momota and 3 others who were hurt in a road crash early today showed their injuries are not serious. Health Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad said all of them are expected to be discharged from the Putrajaya Hospital soon as there are no serious injuries.
Mereka mengharapkan akan dapat discharge dalam waktu yang terdekat kerana tidak ada yang sustain anything. Semua yang kita fahamkan, investigation, CT scan dan sebagainya, tidak ada no major injury, also laceration dan semua itu adalah sesuatu yang kita jangka pada bahan bahagian muka, pada kaki, shin dan tidak ada yang sustain any spinal injury dan sebagainya.
The health minister was met after visiting them at the hospital with Japan's ambassador to Malaysia, Hiroshi Oka. Putrajaya Hospital Director Dato Dr. Norai Muhammad Said had earlier said that Momota and 3 others would undergo CT scans and other related examinations for a full diagnosis. She said they suffered abrasion wounds and were all warded in a stable condition at the hospital. She added that some immediately required dressing for wounds while the others needed stitches. Oka, meanwhile, thanked the Malaysian authorities for the support rendered. Meanwhile, in the 4:40 a.m. incident, the van driven by B Nagaswarao 24 crashed into a slow-moving lorry at kilometre 13.7 of the Maju Expressway Max while on the way to the Kuala Lumpur International Airport. Nagaswarao, who was pinned in his seat, died at the scene and his body was also sent to the Putrajaya Hospital. Besides Momota, 25, the other passengers were assistant coach Yu Hirayama, 35, physiotherapist Morimoto Akifumi, 42, and William Thomas, 30, a technical officer of the Badminton World Federation. Police have crippled a drug trafficking syndicate for allegedly producing Joyce concoctions laced with ecstasy into sachets and bottles in 2 separate raids. Pulau Pinang Narcotics Investigation Department Chief Assistant Commissioner Maidu Abu Bakar said police arrested 7 people, including 3 women, during a 2-hour operation that started at 10:20 p.m. on Thursday. ACP Maidu said in the raids, police seized drugs worth 434,800 ringgit, believed to be meant for local distribution.
MO ni kalau kita order semua pakai adalah depa punya kod tu Nanti delivery akan dibuat masa tu. MO dia. Yes. WhatsApp. Mengorder tapi saya tak katakan WhatsApp. Ada cara dia mengorder tu. Yalah, ada. You tempah, you dapat. Satu botol RM350.
He added that 2 of the suspects were caught in the Pulau Tikus area, while another 5 were nabbed at a house in Bukit Tengah. Also confiscated were 131 packets of drink sachet and 27 liquid bottles that were believed to have been mixed with the drugs. The suspect who severely wounded a 5-year-old girl, stabbing her in the gut, has been remanded for 7 days starting today. Early investigation found that the suspect, who was a neighbor, was under the influence of drugs and was running amok the previous night. The incident happened at about 3 p.m. yesterday in Kampung Kedah Che Burma, Sungai Layar in Sungai Petani, Kedah. Kuala Muda Police Chief ACP Azli Abu Shah said the 27-year-old suspect was detained while the knife used to stab the victim was found in front of the suspect's house. The suspect was arrested in his house and remanded for 7 days starting today. The victim was sent to Sultan Abdul Halim Hospital for further treatment and is reported to be in stable condition. The case is investigated under Section 326 of the Penal Code. Education Malaysia Global Service or EMGS Chairman Dato' Abdul Rahman Muhammad Sharif today claimed trial in the Kuala Lumpur Sessions Court to 3 counts of criminal breach of trust (CBT) involving more than 178,000 ringgit. Dato' Abdul Rahman, 63, made the plea after the charges were read to him before Sessions Court Judge Azura Alwi. Dato' Abdul Rahman, however, pleaded not guilty when the charges were read to him. On the first charge, Dato' Abdul Rahman, in his capacity as Yayasan Pengurusan Ilmu or YPI Board of Director and was entrusted with YPI funds, was alleged to have misappropriated the fund by approving payment of 150,000 ringgit through a cheque issued by Maybank Islami Berhad to Mudra Resources Sendirian Berhad that was owned by him on the 23rd November 2018. On the second charge, he was alleged to have misappropriated YPI funds by approving payment of 3,049 ringgit through a cheque issued by Maybank Islami Berhad on the 24th of December 2018. On the third charge, Dato' Abdul Rahman, in the same capacity, was alleged to have misappropriated YPI funds by approving payment of 25,000 ringgit through cheques issued to AK Success Sendirian Berhad on behalf of Coffee Sandwich Revival Sendirian Berhad, which was owned by his wife on the 7th of January 2019. All the charges were framed under Section 409 of the Penal Code, which provides an imprisonment for up to 20 years and whipping, and is also liable to a fine if found guilty. Former Chief Secretary to the government Tan Sri Ali Hamzah had given instructions in 2016 to withhold the printing of the amended version of the final audit report on 1MDB until then Prime Minister Datuk Sri Najib Tun Razak's approval was given. While testifying as the 7th prosecution witness in Datuk Sri Najib and former 1MDB CEO Aru Kanda Kandasami's joint trial today, Saadatul Nafisa Bashir Ahmad, who led the special audit team on 1MDB, said she had presented the draft copy of the final audit report to Tan Sri Ali at the letters office at around 9:30 a.m. on the 29th of February 2016. According to Saadatul, this version of the final audit report given to Tan Sri Ali was the amended version, following requests by Aru Kanda and several high-ranking government officials, including Tan Sri Ali, to remove content from the audit report. The special 1MDB audit team under the National Audit Department eventually decided to remove 4 items from the audit report following a series of meetings, including a 24th of February 2016 meeting chaired by Tan Sri Ali, where the amendment requests were made. Saadatul said that yet another meeting was held in Tan Sri Ali's office on the 1st of March 2016 at 10 a.m. with the meeting chaired by Tan Sri Ali, also attended by Arukanda and the leaders of the 1MDB audit team's sub-teams. She said Arukanda had in that meeting made requests for further changes that were mostly focused on the choice of words used by the government auditors in the 1MDB audit report. She said the 1MDB auditors did not agree to Arukanda's requests, as 1MDB was considered to have agreed with the report since it had failed to provide documents or explanation by the 30th of January 2016, when previously given the opportunity to do so.
9 early voters will be casting out their votes for the Kimanis parliamentary by-election tomorrow. The 9 voters that consist of police personnel will be voting in Membakut Police Station.
Election Commission EC Chairman Dato' Azhar Azizan Harun in a statement said the polling centre will be opened from 8 a.m. until 12 p.m. The early voting process will be witnessed by election candidates' representatives as well as election observer appointed by the EC. The EC will also broadcast the voting process via EC Facebook live streaming. Dato' Azhar said the ballot box will be kept in a lockup in Beaufort Police Station and the votes will be counted in Beaufort District Office on polling day. Dato' Azhar also hoped that every voter could fulfill their responsibility by voting on polling day.
The government has approved an alternative supply of 1 million Tamiflu, an antiviral medication used to treat flu caused by the influenza A virus, for private clinics, which could benefit 100,000 patients. Speaking to reporters after presenting the ministry's New Year mandate in Putrajaya today, Health Minister Dato' Sri Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad said currently 5 companies were registered with the ministry to supply Tamiflu medication.
Bila satu keadaan yang agak alarming sikit dan semua mau dan rakyat semua pergi ke khususnya kepada fasiliti swasta, lalu mereka tidak ada buat stockpile berbeza kami. Jadi oleh kerana itu bila demand exceed supply berlakulah kekurangan dan itu sebabnya mereka sangat cemas, tetapi apapun dia sudah pun diatasi because there is now an increase we want to ensure the supply is achieved.
Meanwhile, on the issue of vaccination shortage, Dato' Sri Dr. Zulkifli said there was enough supply of vaccines for influenza A at public healthcare facilities at the moment. He said last year alone, the government acquired about 600,000 doses of influenza vaccines. He said since there was a spike in influenza cases on the 2nd of December 2019, the ministry imported another 92,700 doses. He added that on the 20th of January, the government will bring in more than 60,000 doses.
Water tariff hike, Selangor awaits feedback from all parties. Welcome back. The Selangor government said talks are underway with all the relevant parties, including the federal government, before finalizing on the water tariff hike in the state. Menteri Besar Dato' Sri Amiruddin Shari said Selangor will wait for feedbacks from all parties involved before implementing it.
kita baru take over setahun atau 2 tahun, dan selepas take over tu kita dah buat kita punya business plan dan sebagainya. Jadi semua itu harus diperincikan di sana sebab kita ada dasar seperti air percuma dan kita ada dasar seperti air ribet air dan sebagainya untuk beberapa organisasi. Jadi saya nak kita kena melihat ke semua aspek lah.
He was replying to a question on the status of discussion held to decide on the water tariff hike after attending the State Monthly Assembly in Shah Alam.
The federal government disbursed funding of about 7 million ringgit for the deepening and maintenance of the coastal seabed project at the Melaka Marina Port Jetty, which has restarted operations in October last year. Melaka Chief Minister Adli Zahari today said the project, which has been completed, had enabled the port jetty to assume its role as a tourist transit centre via sea route, especially cruise ships, hence further spurring the tourism industry in the state.
Adli said the allocation channeled through the Marine Department of Malaysia was utilised for dredging works with a depth of 4 metres, covering an area of 500 metres offshore from the jetty, which was undertaken in mid-2019.
Dia sebenarnya mendalamkan. Setakat ini kita Kerajaan Persekutuan sudah membelanjakan hampir 7 juta untuk kerja-kerja penyelenggaraan bagi membolehkan marina ini terus beroperasi, kerana kita tahu bahawa marina ini sudah agak lama tidak beroperasi kerana isu kedalaman.
He also said that the cruise ship tourism industry has a huge development potential in the state, as more than 100 ships from all over the world pass through the Straits of Malacca, and since being operational last October, the Malacca Marine Jetty has received transits of close to 60 cruise ships with an estimated 2,000 passengers per ship. Earlier, Adli welcomed the arrival of tourists from a luxury cruise ship at Melaka Marina Port Jetty, Kota Laksamana, which was also attended by General Manager of the Melaka Tourism Promotion Division, Zairi Subo.
Kenanga Investors Berhad today listed the Kenanga KLCI Daily 2X Leveraged ETF or KLCI 2XL and the Kenanga KLCI Daily 1X Inverse ETF, KLCI 1XI or known as 1 ETF, on the main market of Bursa Malaysia Securities Berhad, marking its foray into exchange-traded funds or ETF by means of leveraged and inverse L and I ETFs. The L and I ETFs are benchmarked against the FTSE Bursa KLCI.
Both KLCI 2XL and KLCI 1XI adopt a futures-based replication investment strategy in order to provide daily performance that closely corresponds to their respective tracked indexes. Kenanga Investment Bank Group Managing Director Dato Che Wai Leong said it is continuously working to broaden its range of products and solutions to complement the varied goals investors have.
These two instruments allows you, like buying any stocks. If you're positive, you're very, very positive, you want to double up, you buy the leverage. If you're negative on the market, you buy the inverse. So it's as simple as that.
While ETFs in Southeast Asia are still in its early stages, it has been garnering strong traction and showing tremendous growth potential. Earlier, Kenanga Investors, a subsidiary of Kenanga Investment Bank Berhad, has listed 1 ETF on the main market of Bursa Malaysia Securities Berhad.
He will still return from next year's Olympics with a gold medal, though he has retired. That golden success, if it happens, will be in his capacity as the chef de mission of the Malaysian contingent for the Tokyo Olympics.
The former world number 1 said he understands the pressure faced by the national athletes in major events like the Olympics. Chang Wei's advice to Tokyo-bound Olympians is to be mentally strong, take care of their health and avoid injuries.
I think saya start kerja mungkin Mei lah, because sudah tahu semua orang siapa yang qualified kan, and sekarang kita tak sure 100% siapa dapat qualify lagi, and saya rasa semua sudah tutup itu qualifying, kita akan start lawatan untuk all the sport lah.
Speaking to RTM, the three-time Olympic silver medalist intends to show up to more training sessions at the country's National Badminton Academy and said he also wants to help younger athletes in different ways.
That concludes News on 2 this evening. In our top story, top badminton player survives road crash. Join us for updates at noon at 12:30 tomorrow. I'm Wong Kang Sin. Have a pleasant evening.